Is this it for Canyon bicycles? Not quite. A big announcement that kind of was underneath the radar, but actually for you as a consumer, if you have a Canyon or you're considering to buy one, this is actually a good thing for you. But before all that, we should probably review the both companies, how they came to this situation, a fruitation of idea of what they're going to be doing, and how is that going to affect you, the consumer, and as well as the rest of the bike market in a whole. We'll review that after this. Hey, welcome to Noah Guy Bicycles, hanging with the guy. Hey, I'm Justin the Guy on As the Wheel Turns, So the Days of Our Rides. Yes, every day is a soap opera in the cycling world. Every day, every week, every month. And it's just continuing to go down that road. In any case, we're going to talk about Canyon and having its partnership with REI as a service center for their bikes and customers. Kind of crazy, but before that, we need to dive into the history of both companies to see where they evolved. If you don't know, what is Canyon, what is REI, and see where they're at this particular juncture of made the decision. In any case, let's start. History of Canyon. Back in 1985, back in time, there were a Rad Sport Arnold, which was the distributor in Europe. They're a German-based company, and they sold basically parts like a lot of companies here in the U.S. But in 1996, they decided to make their own house brand of bikes, Canyon bicycles. Well, those particular bikes were direct-to-consumer from out of the gate, apparently, and well, lo and behold, a lot of direct-to-consumer sales in the 90s was not so warmly received from the bike industry, but yes, from the customers. Being a European model, they built this up over the years in the 90s and early 2000s, and going into the teens, they branched out and gotten very successful of building very high-end bikes comparable to the Trek, Specialized, and Giants, and also the price points were a little bit lower. Well, this was a pretty big deal at the time, and as in Canyon today, they're a fairly strong company. As for REI, their start was back in 1939. Lloyd and Mary Anderson was basically an outdoor enthusiast that developed a shop that actually sold like hiking and camping and climbing gear. Well, over the decades, they've actually built up this brand. REI today has multiple locations across the nation, based out of Seattle, Washington. Big corporation. They've also done a little bit of skis and snowboard type stuff as well over those years, but they've also been known for their bike department. Now, the bike department has flourished over time with training, with good mechanics and so forth. It's not really too far of a stretch for them to take on the actual challenge of Canyon service. The reason being is, well, they have the people in place, and yes, they've been doing it for a long time, so they're very reliable. A lot of bike shop people have left mom and pop shops or small chain stores to work for REI for, well, let's just get down to it, better pay, benefits, and all the other stuff that comes with a corporation, job security. Small bike shops don't really have that, but until recently, that has changed, and, well, the company is, with its age, approaching 100 years, which is pretty sweet. It is actually a staple within my market as well as several others across the nation. So they've built up over the years, and as well, a very strong company. All right, let's talk about what the companies are currently today in the last 5 years. Both companies have endured, yes, the COVID and also the COVID whiplash of retail. This has definitely affected pretty much everything across the board, especially REI, where they have multiple outdoor themes, which they did great, as well as Canyon, in the whole COVID boom. Yes, and they've also suffered with the over inventory and less demand that we're currently faced with now. Since they're doing several different types of activities as hiking and camping and rock climbing and everything else with their cycling department, all of those have been affected, and the slowdown has been pretty substantial. So looking into our current state of the state, looking at bike shops across the nation, especially smaller ones, they've been relying on more of the service aspect of their business to carry them through these hardships. Where though REI has a great service department which they have multiple stores, which definitely whet the teeth of actual Canyon to partner with. As REI has been testing the field for multiple years of carrying brands like their own, Navara, which has changed to the Co-op brand, in addition to carrying some of the Trek product accessories as well as the Trek-owned electric company, in addition to Pond Holdings Company, which owns Cannondale as well as Diamondback, plus other brands like Surly, Brompton, and also Wahoo Sports Fitness. So in any case, they've been in the cycling, they do have a big footprint, and actually comes out during the on-season, and the off-season for them, they bring out all their snow stock. In any case, the service department's been there throughout the year, and they do repairs and so forth, which they've already are tooled up and done a lot of it, but they don't do a lot of high-end. So that's where the Canyon kind of fits in. Not that they're going to be carrying their bikes though. So let's talk about Canyon. Canyon has been going through pretty much the same scenario. Big boom, all of a sudden not enough products, and then too much product, and now nobody's buying and putting everything on sale. But although they've actually showed a couple positive quarters during this process where Trek and Specialized and Giant have not been doing so well. But in any case, they've had like this kind of pilot program for bike shops in the United States, basically VeloFix, which is a mobile service to service bikes from Canyon, and various other partnerships with other bike shops. In total of this, it's something around 60 some dealer partnerships they have with dealers and also with VeloFix. But this is a big, big push. You're talking about 28 stores right out of the gate, which you know they're going to be locations where they probably have the most volume sales for Canyon bikes, and then they have plans to open up the rest of the 190 stores across the nation, which are actually going to be tripling their footprint of service centers across the United States, which is a big footnote. So what does this mean for REI? Well, you got people coming in the door. Number one, coming in the door, doing some service. They're going to be trained and tooled up to be able to do their proprietary parts that actually go on the Canyon, and as well as take care of their warranties, crash replacements, and various other services that Canyon does do, but it gives you a little bit more warm and fuzzy when you actually can go into a store and have it done maybe possibly quite quicker than the turnaround it would if you're doing it over the internet claims department kind of thing. Also, this gives REI great marketing opportunities to basically branch out more service into their doors. In addition to, it brings in more sales for accessories. Let's just say, add-on sales where Canyon may sell some online, but it's a lot better to have your hands on that pack that goes on the bike, or some new bar tape, or shoes to go with those pedals, all those things. So there's a big chunk of the sale that's being missed by Canyon due to the fact that they don't have the rest of the accessories to sell to it. This gives a great opportunity for REI to serve those customers, to give them all their needs, where Canyon may fall short because they're a mail-order company. Needless to say, you can get all this stuff basically on Amazon and everywhere else, but a lot of people like to basically touch the product, have it installed, all those great things. In addition to helping them with their journey for cycling. So REI is really taking a big leap forward and great opportunity for them to do such. What's this mean for Canyon? Well, if you're buying a bike that's online, there's a sense of nervousness, especially if you're spending a lot of money on and being shipped to your house and you are putting it together yourself. They've really patented it down. I mean, they have great videos, they have a great way of process of getting you through the journey, great customer service online or on the phone. But when you're looking at a bike that comes in and you have some extra questions, which a lot of people do, because a bike is kind of complicated, especially the newer ones today, therefore it could use a little extra help. Well, there has been a disconnect and a fear where this is going to eliminate that. So if you buy the bike online, it shows up on your house, you open it up, put it together, go for a ride, you know something weird, then you can take it to a Canyon authorized service center. Well, REI, which is pretty easy. They're open 7 days a week and they have long extended hours. Therefore, you can roll it in there, they can take a look at it, and they'll be trained in their tech and be able to identify or proceed and help you out with your journey. That's a huge lift. That's why a lot of people buy bikes from bike shops today. and stay away from the mail order companies. That eliminates that basically Achilles heel of the Canyon bicycles product line. They've been testing this in Europe, so it's nothing new. They've had some success with VeloFix and some other shops here locally in the United States, but this actually makes a huge footprint. So it's basically a huge win for Canyon, and it's a huge win for REI. But is it really a win for the customer? Well, absolutely. It gives the customer a level of confidence of purchasing Canyon where they see it on the Tour de France and various other races. They know they're good bikes, but is it good for them? Well, in that scenario, they actually can be taken care of locally as well as the discounted price from Canyon. And with this, any issues they may have with that bike that they purchase can be addressed locally instead of going on the internet and putting a claim. Also, if you do have any issues, the time turnaround is probably going to be a lot faster. So here's the tricky bit. So if you're a local bike shop, and yeah, you don't carry Canyon, or you're not a Canyon service, but you have those customers that come in and do service on their Canyon bikes at your shop, and you come across the issue where you're going to have to contact Canyon direct. Well, this gives you an opportunity, or them an opportunity, to direct that customer to a service center to actually have it addressed. So when you have those specific parts from Canyon that have to be addressed, or cracks or crash replacement or defective or any of that nature, it could be easily addressed, and that takes the lift off the local shop without giving them the bad news of real bad news, because nobody wants to hear, yeah, you're going to have to get on the phone and talk to the company direct because we're not going to do that for you. Therefore, it gives the option for the bike shops locally to help their customers continue riding on their Canyon bikes. This doesn't mean you have to disregard all your shops and just go to the Canyon service. All the bike shops in your local area can do pretty much all the tune-ups, brake bleeds, suspension work, all that other stuff. It's mainly just for crash replacement, warranty issues, or anything that's specifically parts related to that Canyon bike that is not standardized within the industry. Although that might help, but hey, in the day, if you still like your local shop and you like that particular mechanic working on your bike and you still like that vibe, you don't have to get rid of them at all. That doesn't mean you have to go there to have your bike serviced. They want you to have the bike serviced over there. That's what REI is banking on. And yes, they're going to get some help from that because a lot of people may not have their local shop because they bought the bike online and they don't like the local bike shops. In any case, that's something that has to be kind of confronted and worked through. Also for the customer, when you walk into an REI with a Canyon bike, you're not going to have that attitude that you bought something online and you didn't go to the shop to purchase it. There is a horrible attitude that's been developed over local bike shops around and across abroad that if you buy something online and you didn't buy it in the shop, they have this attitude, arrogance to it. Well, if you're going to an REI, they're going to be giving you the warm hug because they service them. So how can this not be good for the customer? I mean, you've got the confidence to buy the bike overseas, be shipped to your house, you put it together, you ride it, any concerns can be addressed locally and actually a little bit quicker so you're still on your bike or your lag time being off your bike is less. In addition to you have a place to take it without any major attitude. Also, they carry all the accessories like the helmet, the shoes, the gloves, everything else to complete that bike shop experience and also your cycling journey. It's a win-win. So it's good for Canyon because they're going to be having customer service done directly. It's good for REI because they're getting that service coming in the door and adding customers to their base as a stronghold. And it's great for the customer. That gives them a vote of confidence that they actually can buy a bike and get it taken care of without any major headaches on top of that. So I would call that a win-win-win. So here's the kicker piece. Well, number one, Canyon bikes are probably not going to go into REI, so you're not going to go in and buy a new Canyon there. But that gives REI an opportunity to sell other bikes that they carry. Like I mentioned before, Electra, Cannondale, Diamondback, their own co-op brand, and so forth, plus all the accessories. And REI doesn't really sell the high-end bikes, so it's a good mix anyway, because if you buy a Canyon and not really stepping on the toes of their sales floor fleet anyway. But here's the dropper news. It's going to scare the crap out of Trek and Specialized and Giant and Pond Holdings. Why? Well, when Canyon was deciding to switch markets from just being in Europe to come over to the States, that freaked Trek out. Totally, completely, undeniably, as well as Specialized. What did Trek do? They started buying stores. They thought, oh, that's a great opportunity to have a bigger footprint to combat that. And Specialized, well, they went through their whole thing of buying stores too. And following suit, guess what? Pond Holdings, which owns Sabelo, Santa Cruz, Diamondback, Cannondale, and 50 other companies, bought a couple shops themselves, and they're doing the same thing. So lo and behold, all three companies are now doing all the same thing. Because Trek went to direct consumers just recently, Specialized did it a year ago, which actually stole an employee from Canyon to do the head of switching everything over to direct to consumer. Big fart in a church, big time when that happened. And then Canyon now is going into the retail space. Yeah, crazy, right? So all 4 brands, good companies, are actually going to be level playing field. This is definitely going to help Canyon. It's going to directly help REI. It's definitely going to hurt Trek because their service centers across the nations are going to lose that business as well as Specialized. And the direct-to-consumer portion of it, you be the judge on prices. Compare the same model, make, model, componentry bike from Canyon, Trek, and Specialized and see who has the best price. Therefore, they're all going to be struggling. In any case, not sure what's going to happen with those other companies, but it's a win-win for Cannondale REI and also a win for the customer. But in any case, there we are at it. Anywho, well, thanks for hanging out with me in the garage, and I hope that clears up some insights on the Canyon move to moving to REI. And yeah, this is not it all for Canyon, but it's going to be for some other companies, and who knows how these struggles will unveil. So in any case, thanks for hanging out with me in the garage. If it's nice in your neck of the woods, please go for a ride. Until next time, I'll be talking about this on my live Tuesday. In addition to, have a wonderful day.